The phenomenon of modern celebrity culture operates much like a massive, self-sustaining ecosystem where the public is constantly searching for deeper meaning behind every grand gesture, public appearance, and high-profile alignment. In an era dominated by instantaneous digital communication and global social media platforms, the lives of our most prominent cultural icons are no longer merely observed, they are meticulously analyzed, deconstructed, and transformed into shared global experiences. When individuals who have reached the absolute zenith of their respective industries decide to intertwine their destinies, the resulting cultural explosion reverberates far beyond the traditional boundaries of entertainment news. It becomes a defining historical moment, a collective narrative that captivates millions of onlookers across the globe who find themselves drawn into the sheer scale, glamour, and emotional weight of the spectacle. These massive events serve as a mirror to our collective desires, representing the ultimate fusion of talent, success, ambition, and romance on a scale that feels almost mythological in its execution. Yet, beneath the blinding flashbulbs, the multi-million-dollar production values, and the endless waves of media speculation, there always exists a human core composed of genuine relationships, quiet decisions, and unexpected alliances that the public rarely anticipates. It is this exact tension between the public grandeur and the private reality that drives our enduring fascination with the elite, creating an atmosphere where even the most minor detail can spark an intense international conversation. As audiences watch these grand stories unfold in real time, they are constantly looking for the hidden threads that connect disparate worlds, trying to understand how the puzzle pieces of fame fit together behind closed doors. Before we dive deeper into the extraordinary web of connections that define one of the most talked about events of the decade, take a moment to subscribe to this channel and turn on notifications so you never miss our in-depth explorations of the defining moments shaping modern pop culture as the summer of 26 reached its peak. The epicenter of global attention shifted decisively toward the heart of New York City, where an event of unprecedented magnitude was quietly preparing to alter the cultural landscape forever. Madison Square Garden, a venue historically reserved for legendary musical performances, historic athletic battles, and massive public gatherings, was radically transformed into a private sanctuary of unparalleled luxury and romance. This legendary arena, which has witnessed decades of iconic triumphs, became the backdrop for a $50 million wedding celebration that immediately captured the imagination of the entire world. The scale of the occasion was staggering, drawing an elite crowd of 1,000 close friends, family members, and high-profile dignitaries who gathered to witness the union of two of the most dominant forces in contemporary popular culture. On one side stood a generational musical icon whose poetic songwriting and record-breaking global tours have redefined the music industry, and on the other, a premier professional football champion whose athletic prowess and charismatic personality have made him a household name far beyond the sport's gridiron. The convergence of these two distinct universes created a symbiotic cultural phenomenon, blending the fervent passion of millions of music lovers with the intense loyalty of sports enthusiasts. The sheer financial and logistical scale of the ceremony, combined with the extreme secrecy surrounding the preparations, ensured that the entire world was watching with bated breath, waiting for any glimpse into what was quickly being hailed as the wedding of the century. It was a masterclass in modern event production, where the grandeur of a stadium was successfully harnessed to create an intimate yet incredibly cinematic atmosphere for a love story that had been playing out under the brightest spotlights imaginable. However, as the first official details and images from this monumental evening began to filter out into the public domain, the initial awe and admiration quickly gave way to a wave of profound bewilderment and intense speculation across the digital landscape. While the public had anticipated a star-studded guest list filled with Hollywood elites, chart-topping musicians, and legendary athletes, no one was truly prepared for the identity of the individual chosen to stand at the absolute center of the ceremony. In the days following the July 3rd nuptials, as fans meticulously dissected every rumor and official report, a collective sense of confusion swept through social media communities worldwide. The selection of the wedding officiant, the singular person responsible for legally and spiritually binding these two global superstars in matrimony, became the subject of endless debate, with many commentators openly questioning the logic behind what appeared to be an incredibly random and unpredictable choice. In the court of public opinion, where every creative decision made by high-profile figures is subjected to intense scrutiny, This particular detail felt like a bizarre narrative twist that did not align with the traditional expectations of a multi-million-dollar high-society wedding. The internet became flooded with theories, questions, and expressions of disbelief as millions of onlookers tried to comprehend how a beloved veteran of Hollywood comedy, a man best known for his eccentric cinematic characters and nostalgic slapstick humor, ended up commanding the altar at Madison Square Garden. This unexpected intersection of worlds created a fascinating cultural paradox, leaving the global audience desperate for context explanations and any insight into the hidden dynamics of this star-studded inner circle, just as the wave of skepticism and perplexity threatened to overshadow the celebratory narrative of the wedding. An unexpected voice emerged from the archives of Hollywood history to offer a completely new perspective on the situation. A former co-star who had shared the silver screen with the mysterious officiant nearly 2 decades prior stepped forward into the media spotlight, launching a passionate defense of his character, integrity, and suitability for such a sacred role. This sudden intervention by a seasoned actress and podcast host added a fresh layer of depth to the unfolding story, shifting the conversation away from surface-level confusion and toward a deeper appreciation for the quiet, grounded qualities of a man the public rarely sees outside of his comedic persona. Through the medium of modern audio broadcasting, she chose to reflect on her own historical experiences working alongside this Hollywood heavyweight, painting a portrait of an individual who is fiercely loyal, deeply sentimental, and remarkably intentional in his actions. Her words provided the crucial context that the public had been missing, suggesting that what seemed like a random choice to the outside world was, in reality, a deeply meaningful decision rooted in genuine friendship, mutual respect, and a shared history that spans far beyond the gaze of the paparazzi. As we prepare to look closer at the specific identities, the exact podcast revelations, and the intricate sequence of events that brought these legendary figures together at the altar, the true nature of this Hollywood mystery begins to unravel, setting the stage for a dramatic exploration of fame, friendship, and the hidden bonds that unite the world's biggest stars. The curtain of mystery surrounding this unprecedented gathering began to lift when 42-year-old actress and podcast host Jana Kramer dedicated a highly anticipated episode of her popular show Wind Down to breaking down the public skepticism. Kramer, who has spent decades navigating the complex realities of the entertainment industry, felt a profound personal obligation to address the brewing controversy and offer a first-hand perspective on the true character of the man at the center of the storm. To understand why her defense carries so much weight, one must travel back to the year 2006, a golden era for cinematic comedies, when Kramer was cast alongside the veteran comedian in the critically acclaimed and commercially successful film Click. In this emotional sci-fi comedy, which starred the legendary actor alongside the brilliant Kate Beckinsale, Kramer played the pivotal role of Julie, the daughter-in-law to the main character Michael Newman, who was memorably portrayed by the comedian himself. This intense and lengthy production schedule allowed Kramer to observe the Hollywood icon away from the chaotic energy of press junkets and red carpets, discovering a personality that stands in stark contrast to the loud, chaotic, and often absurd characters he portrays on the silver screen. Reflecting on those foundational memories from nearly 2 decades ago, Kramer directly challenged the internet narrative that labeled his inclusion as a random or superficial choice. Explaining that his presence makes perfect sense when you understand his deeply sentimental nature during her emotionally canned podcast, Broadcast, Kramer expressed genuine surprise at how quick the public was to judge the arrangement, noting that everyone in her immediate circles was initially echoing the sentiment that it was an interesting and bizarre choice for such a monumental event. However, Kramer sought to dismantle this superficial perception by revealing the profound depth of character that defines the 59-year-old actor in his private life. She described him as an incredibly sweet, grounded, and inherently good man who possesses a rare emotional intelligence that is seldom discussed in mainstream media coverage. According to Kramer, the public often conflates the actor with his famous cinematic personas, assuming he is always cracking jokes or behaving erratically, whereas the real-life individual is actually remarkably soft-spoken, thoughtful, and deeply intentional whenever he speaks. This striking duality between a larger-than-life comedic brand and a quiet, respectful personal demeanor is precisely what made him the ideal candidate to guide the young couple through their wedding vows. Kramer gushed about how his unique combination of a brilliant sense of humor and a rock-solid sentimental foundation allowed him to infuse the high-profile ceremony with both light-hearted joy and a profound, grounding solemnity that a traditional officiant simply could not provide. Her defense acted as a powerful reality check for millions of fans, reminding the global audience that celebrity friendships are often built on years of quiet, mutual respect rather than strategic public relations maneuvers. The logistical and emotional puzzle pieces of this star-studded narrative began to fall into place when investigative reports revealed the specific professional catalyst that brought the professional football champion and the Hollywood legend into the same orbit. Far from being a completely random pairing, the 36-year-old NFL athlete and the veteran filmmaker had recently forged a strong bond on the set of the highly anticipated Netflix sequel, Happy Gilmore 2. The superstar tight end, who has been aggressively expanding his footprint in the entertainment world, made a highly publicized cameo appearance in the sports comedy revival, working closely with the iconic lead actor during production. This creative collaboration quickly blossomed into a genuine multi-generational friendship, characterized by shared humor, mutual admiration, and a deep appreciation for each other's elite work ethic. When the time came for the athlete and his Grammy-winning partner to plan their spectacular $50 million ceremony at Madison Square Garden, they did not want a distant religious figure or a formal legal official to oversee their vows. Instead, they sought someone who embodied longevity, happiness, and authentic warmth. According to inside sources close to the production, when the couple officially approached the Hollywood veteran with the monumental request to officiate their wedding, he did not hesitate for a single moment and enthusiastically said yes right away. Feeling incredibly honored to play such a vital role in their special day, furthermore, industry insiders and close associates revealed that the legendary comedian was viewed by the couple as the absolute perfect person to guide them into matrimony due to his own exemplary and inspiring track record in his personal life. In an industry where high-profile relationships are notoriously fragile and frequently subject to intense public strain, the actor stands out as a beacon of marital stability and enduring devotion. Having recently celebrated his 23rd wedding anniversary with his beautiful 51-year-old wife Jackie, his enduring partnership serves as a powerful blueprint for navigating long-term love under the relentless glare of global fame. The couple wanted an officiant who truly understood the weight of the vows being spoken, someone who had successfully weathered decades of media scrutiny while maintaining a deeply happy, private, and unified family unit. This profound personal milestone added an immense layer of emotional legitimacy to his role at the altar, transforming his presence from a surprising pop culture crossover into a deeply meaningful mentorship gesture. As the 1,000 guests looked on inside the arena, they were not watching a Hollywood stunt, but rather a beautifully orchestrated moment of transition. Guided by a man who had mastered the exact balance of public success and private marital bliss that the newly married superstars hope to achieve in their own journey together, as the narrative of this historic July 3rd wedding continued to dominate global headlines, the freshly married couple wasted no time in demonstrating their deep commitment to their inner circle by making their very first public appearance as husband and wife just days later. In a beautiful display of loyalty and camaraderie, the superstar singer and her NFL husband traveled to the sun-drenched coast of Laguna Beach to attend the romantic weekend wedding of his former professional football teammate, Juju Smith-Schuster. The celebrated wide receiver, who had previously won a championship alongside the groom, was tying the knot with his longtime love, Laura Crook, creating a joyous atmosphere where the worlds of elite sports and global music intersected once again. This public outing provided a fascinating contrast to the $50 million spectacle at Madison Square Garden, allowing the famous newlyweds to step out of the absolute center of attention and comfortably occupy the role of supportive, celebratory guests. The presence of the world's most famous couple added an undeniable electricity to the beachside festivities. Yet it also highlighted their shared desire to remain grounded and connected to the people who have supported them throughout their meteoric rises to fame. This series of rapid-fire summer celebrations created a beautiful tapestry of interconnected lives, showing how these cultural titans navigate their immense public responsibilities while fiercely protecting and honoring their personal friendships. The beautiful continuity of these interconnected summer weddings took a fascinating turn as the digital spotlight shifted toward the beachside ceremony in Laguna Beach, where a series of striking coincidences caught the sharp eyes of pop culture enthusiasts. Laura Crook, the elegant bride of professional football player Juju Smith-Schuster, unexpectedly found herself at the center of an international fashion conversation when fans noticed an extraordinary detail regarding her bridal attire. Social media sleuths quickly pointed out that Crook had chosen the exact same wedding dress design that had been previously worn by Abigail Anderson, the lifelong childhood best friend of the Grammy-winning music icon. This subtle yet remarkable connection added a profound layer of historical symmetry to the entire weekend, tying together past and present chapters of these celebrated lives in a way that felt almost scripted. For the global audience watching from afar, this fashion crossover served as a beautiful reminder of how tightly woven these social circles truly are, where shared tastes, mutual friends, and parallel life milestones constantly mirror one another across different times and locations. It highlighted the reality that despite their staggering wealth, immense cultural power, and global fame, these individuals are deeply anchored in a shared community where traditions, loyalty, and personal bonds are passed down and celebrated with genuine enthusiasm. This profound sense of intimacy and intentionality was even more visible during the massive $50 million ceremony at Madison Square Garden, where the superstar singer and her championship-winning husband made the bold and unconventional decision to opt completely out of a traditional bridal party. Instead of surrounding themselves with dozens of high-profile Hollywood celebrities, fashion models, and sports elites on the stage, the couple chose to strip away the traditional industry expectations in favor of absolute familial devotion. Standing directly by the bride's side as her chosen man of honor was her devoted brother Austin, whose quiet presence symbolized the unbreakable familial foundation that has supported the singer through every phase of her historic musical career. On the other side of the altar stood the groom's legendary brother Jason Kelce, acting as the best man, a role that felt perfectly fitting given the brothers' highly publicized, emotionally raw, and deeply inspiring journey together through the highest ranks of professional sports. This deliberate choice to elevate their siblings above all others transformed the massive stadium ceremony into a profoundly intimate family affair, demonstrating to the 1,000 gathered guests that despite the grand scale of their public lives, their truest loyalties will always belong to the families who raised them. When we look at the complete picture of this historic summer, the choosing of the iconic comedian as the wedding officiant stops looking like an eccentric pop culture puzzle and reveals itself as a brilliant, deeply calculated masterstroke of emotional storytelling. This legendary actor, whose career has spanned over 3 decades of cinematic history, brought a unique and necessary energy to a stage that could have easily been overwhelmed by the sheer weight of global media expectations. By utilizing his natural comedic brilliance to break the immense tension of the room, while simultaneously drawing upon his 23 years of successful marital experience to provide grounded, sentimental guidance, he managed to anchor the ceremony in absolute authenticity. His journey from a young, energetic stand-up comic to a respected Hollywood patriarch mirrored the evolution of the newlyweds themselves, who have both grown from ambitious young talents into the absolute defining figures of their respective industries. His presence at the altar was a living testament to the fact that it is entirely possible to achieve the absolute pinnacle of global success while still maintaining a fiercely protected private life, a loyal group of friends, and a deeply loving, enduring marriage built on laughter and mutual respect. The ultimate significance of this monumental union extends far beyond the realm of traditional celebrity gossip, marking a permanent shift in how modern pop culture icons navigate the intersection of public expectation and private fulfillment. By bringing together 1,000 of their closest friends, family members, and professional peers inside the world's most famous arena, the couple did not merely host a wedding. They created a historic cultural sanctuary where the worlds of elite athletic achievement, legendary musical artistry, and Hollywood cinematic history could perfectly align. The passionate defense mounted by Jana Kramer, the shared cinematic history born on the sets of legendary comedies, the beautiful parallel celebrations in Laguna Beach, and the unwavering presence of devoted siblings all served as vital pillars supporting a single, cohesive narrative of enduring love. As the global news cycle eventually moves on to other stories, the profound legacy of this $50 million summer celebration will remain etched in modern history as a powerful blueprint for the elite, proving that even under the blinding relentless glare of the international spotlight, the most powerful forces in the universe will always be genuine friendship, absolute family loyalty, and an unshakable commitment to a shared future.